how well you get to know them, how comfortable you feel from their messaging, from their stories, from, you know, their interactions, even in the DMs, gives you an idea of how comfortable you will able to be with them, which I think is
because you
really,
need that
really
connection. It's a hard process. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Strong, well-fed, outspoken. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Rusty, aka Coach Frizzle, or the Miss Frizzle of Fitness, and this is my girl.
And it's just me, Coach Nell.
Yeah. My intro takes enough time for the both of us, but
well, and you know, it's funny because we were talking about like bringing joy into 2026. I was actually talking about this with a couple of our athletes, our clients, and I was like, it's literally in my name, and they're like, you have joy in your name, and I was like, yeah, my name is actually Alana Joy.
Yeah, that's honestly, I think that's, if you told me that was like your first name but like hyphenated, I'd be like, wow, that's actually such a nice, you know, people have like two names, like I don't know, Tammy Lynn.
It's technically middle name, but all of my sisters also have the same middle name.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's and I do call my sister Kayla Joy, like, because there were two Kaylas in her class, so we just called her Kayla Joy.
Kayla Joy. I like that. I really like that. I might steal that if I ever get it.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, welcome back, you guys. Well, depending on when you guys hear this, we're going to talk about the holidays because it is literally January 1st, the day we're recording this.
101, baby.
Did you do anything for New Year's last night?
Well, I stayed up past midnight, but I was in bed, bonnet, face mask, like the whole deal.
Waiting?
Yeah. I was like, hey, Happy New Year's.
Well, you're slightly better than I am. I did also stay up. Well, I don't know. You could probably argue it. Steph and I went to bed. We have not had like plans. Well, to be honest, we haven't really been in Canada for New Year's. Last year we were in Peru, so we were
that's right.
Fun. Yeah, but this year we were going to see some friends, and then they messaged us yesterday morning, and they were like, the guys that were hosting, they're all like sick. And we were like, yeah, no, we'll just stay in. And then we were like, I don't feel like going out for dinner or anything. But literally, I was in bed reading at like 11:30, and Steph was in bed with me, and I was like forcing my eyes to stay awake, and he like made to wake me up at like 11:59, but I was like, what? I'm like, you scared me, don't disturb my sleep. I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, I love you too.
Fair. No, see, Zach was working a night shift, and so I messaged him, and we had joked earlier that I was gonna like pre-program like Happy New Year's text, so we didn't have to stay awake. Yeah, so I just said, and this isn't pre-programmed, like, you're welcome.
That's awesome. I am actually, take like a selfie. You're like, I'm actually awake right now. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. New Year's is like, in my opinion, I'm down to do like a house get together with people. But unless I'm somewhere else in the world, I just like don't care to go out really and face the crowds.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's not really my life anymore. Once upon a time, like, I loved it, you know, going out dancing or whatever. But now I'm like, I go to bed at 9 p.m. on a regular. I don't really want to force myself to stay up 2-3 more hours.
Totally. I do still really love going out and dancing, but it just happens way less frequently. And honestly, I'm just not that interested on New Year's.
A day rave? That would be nice.
That would be so nice. And it's funny, like, I saw some pictures this morning from friends that were out, and at first I had that moment where I was like, should I be going out? Am I missing out? And then I was like, no, I don't want to, because I won't even lie, like, when the plans got canceled yesterday, a part of me was like a little relieved, because I knew if we were up, I would be up till like 2:30 in the morning. And I was
because you have to be up till at least after the countdown, right? And then by the time you get home and stuff,
I know. Like I said to Steph, I was like, if obviously we're staying till midnight, and I was like, I won't Irish goodbye it at like 12:05, but like 1 a.m. Can we leave then? You know, set it pre-plan. Anyways.
And I'm so bad because I say that, okay, I'm going to leave by 10 or I'm going to leave by 1. And then I'm like, woo, let's roll. And that's like 4 a.m. And I'm like, what have I done?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You get into the mindset of like, whatever, I'm here. This is a great time. And then the next day I'm like, stupid.
Yeah, because like socially, I love the charge, right? Like, I love being around people. But then the next day I'm like,
paying for it.
Why did I do that? That's not who I am.
I know. I don't even need to drink anymore to have a hangover. I just need to not go to bed at my normal time.
100%. That's me too. Like, oh, why is being an adult so hard?
Yeah, 100%. Well, you guys, I hope whatever you celebrated this holiday season, I hope that you guys had a bomb ass time. And, we've been dropping podcasts the last couple weeks specifically about New Year's. This one, and resolutions, this one kind of ties in, but in a completely different way. What we actually want to talk to you guys about today, and this was a requested topic. So somebody messaged me a while ago asking me if I could speak on value for services when you look at hiring a coach, because let's be real, there's so many coaches nowadays.
And I think different facets of coaching too, right? Like, you and I fall into a realm that is a little bit gray. And there are a lot of people in the world of coaching that specialize or are not qualified in the same ways.
Yep.
And I think health is a really general term that a lot of people misuse.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness, definitely. Especially with social media. I would say now more than ever before. I feel like, 90s, 2000s, you could very much identify when people were using health in now looking back, we can identify it. But in today's day and age, like if you see something that you're like, I don't really know if this is, forget about like healthy for me, but just healthy in broad spectrum, you go to their page and they have like 300,000 followers, you start to think like, oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I'm seeing things.
Yeah, there's some validity in that. Even though I maybe know that my qualifications, my training are backed, are, internationally recognized, whatever, right? Like that's the other thing too, is there's a lot of factors there that even make me doubt my own abilities.
Totally. And so, guys, if you were thinking about hiring a coach, and maybe you've even already started to look into it.
Or you've hired a coach in the past.
Yes, that's a big one too, right? No matter what, you want to hire a good quality coach. And based off the differences in, people's niches, their personalities, their followers, if you started to make inquiries, or again, you've worked with a coach in the past, you already kind of know price differences. It can feel like, is this worth it? Should I be paying this much? How do I know if I'm getting a good coach? So that's what we really want to go over with you guys today, because again, hiring a coach is probably one of the most vulnerable decisions you'll make in your health and fitness journey as well, right?
And I would also say it can be one of the most valuable choices you've ever made too, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree, because you're not just buying a plan, right? You're inviting somebody into your life, into your habits, your struggles, your mindset. This is why it is so valuable, so powerful. And yes, due to the fact that there's more coaches than ever, but not all coaching is created equal. I think we can say that.
And coaching is a term that anybody can use in any capacity.
Totally. Yeah, that's why we have life coaches, business coaches, faith-based coaches, whatever it is, right? So we're going to kind of spitball a little bit here on just like how to choose a high quality coach, or know what you're paying for, what to look for, red flags, green flags.
Yeah,
right?
Kind of what's come from our experience as coaches. We've both worked with coaches in the past, and how we've kind of landed on even our own coaching and what we offer, right?
Totally. Yeah. And on that note, right, this episode isn't about convincing you guys to hire us, although, hey, that's always an option. It's more about helping you guys make sure that if you do invest in coaching with literally anyone, it is going to actually help you grow.
Yes, because I truly believe that not every coach is for every person.
No.
I have a strong personality that you either love or hate. There's not a lot of in between with someone like me. And the truth is, you may have the best experience with someone and someone else could have the worst. And so this is kind of how do you look for what you need to connect with?
Yes. Yeah. So on that note, how many coaches have you worked with in your entire fitness career as like a fitness person yourself?
Like individually, one-on-one for myself, or just in general? Like how many coaches have I crossed paths with and worked with in some capacity, whether it's side by side or being coached by?
Like how many coaches have you hired?
Yeah. So in terms of just like fitness and nutrition, I have worked with 2 coaches, but I have also hired like a yoga mentor, and I've also worked with a registered dietitian, which is kind of outside of just a coach. And then of course, like sport specific coaches.
Okay. So like more than 5?
I would say probably fair.
Like more than 10?
No.
5 and 10? Yeah, fair enough.
I would say, probably close to 5.
What was like the shortest amount of time you worked with a coach versus the longest?
The longest, I think, was probably when I worked with you. It was probably, what was that, almost 3 years?
Yeah.
And I would say the shortest was like 16 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I'm sure I mean well, obviously we're not going to call anybody out, but in your experience with working with coaches, would you say you had experiences even if you didn't know it at the time, like looking back, would you say you had experiences where you were like this was not really a good experience?
Absolutely. Yeah, in
Yeah.
the moment it served a purpose, but looking back I'm like I deserved better.
Yeah,
I could have
yeah.
had a lot more had I known that that was an option. Absolutely.
Yeah, like so like let's just dive in. Like when you look back and you're like I know like what was good for you but then made it known I should have had more. I should have been
Yeah.
given more.
Well, I think let's start back early on.
Yeah,
So, this is not to put anyone in the MLM realm on blast, but
sure.
a lot of those have, like, I am a coach. And then what they do is they provide a, a recording or a preloaded thing. And
Yes.
there's no qualifications for these people. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to say it, right? Like they're not certified
Hmm.
in any sort of thing,
Anything.
right? They're very
Yeah.
much a, I would say, a friend
Yes.
in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're like, yeah,
A good
hyping you up and
motivator.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's not this like, we are making sure you're doing things safely. We are
Hmm.
making sure that what you're eating is actually benefiting you and not just an extreme deficit.
Yeah.
And there wasn't this like, I didn't even know what progressive overload was. And I wasted
Hmm.
so much time not building muscle because it was like, okay, today's workout, grab something you can do a bicep curl with.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, I can bicep curl a 3 pound weight or I can bicep curl a 10 pound weight. Like,
Yeah.
and
Please
there was
do.
never this like continuation of that. And
Mhm.
so the first experience was just like lack of qualification. I didn't even know that like I could
Yeah.
hire someone that could guide me through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's what you just said there is such a good point because we often confuse coaching for a hype person.
Yes.
And a good coach should absolutely hype you up, but a good coach is there to educate
Educate.
you first
Yes.
and foremost. And the hype up comes second. In fact, the more educated you are, naturally you should feel more hyped up because you understand things better.
Yeah, I don't truly go out of my way to be like, yay, you as a
Yes,
coach. I
absolutely.
celebrate when you have successes because you're
Mhm.
having them,
Yep,
not
definitely.
because I think you need just like, you can do it.
Yep. Your first biggest mistake is hiring somebody simply because they seem really motivating online. And I
Or
know,
there's like a huge group. I'm all for group
mm,
accountability, but
yep.
it's not this like, get in and everybody just celebrate the day.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a, something's missing in there for me.
Yes. Oh no, absolutely. And like a big thing when you guys are looking to hire a coach is understanding what it is you do actually want,
And what
right?
you need. I didn't even
Yes.
know what I needed, truly.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you are somebody who right now is like, you know what, I do need more of like, I just feel very alone in my journey and I do want kind of a hype squad, then you know what, maybe you don't even need a one on one coach. Maybe you need group coaching,
Yes.
which is kind of what Nell was saying, but it works out perfectly for you. You should be paying definitely less in that regard, but you're in a position then where you are hyping other people up, they're hyping you up, you're still getting some kind of group accountability and questions and things like that, but that's not one-on-one, hiring a coach. That's having some general direction and then like a hype squad.
Yes.
It's different. If you guys are hiring a coach for the fact that they seem really motivating online, you are automatically probably hiring a poor coach. And
Yeah,
not
because
randomly,
we
but
can use me as an example. You guys know I'm not super motivated online.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And honestly, and like I'm probably the other way. Like I do have people message me all the time being like, I love your energy and enthusiasm, which is great. And don't get it twisted, somebody can be very motivating online while still providing you a ton of education, which kind of speaks to, again, credentials.
Yes.
We're not hiring a best friend. We're not
No, and
hiring a cheerleader.
and
We're
we'll talk
hiring
about
an
this later on.
educator.
I don't think that credentials are the only thing that
No,
makes a good coach, but it is a
definitely not.
great place to start.
Yeah, yeah. So like literally on that note, guys, like when you are looking to hire somebody, what I would say is you need some kind of like proof is in the pudding shit,
Hmm.
right? So testimonials, of course, right? We think about that and a coach should have one because here's the thing, even at the end of the day, a good education, somebody who puts a lot of information out there, all that means is that they can regurgitate what they know. And if I'm being honest with you, forget about even like textbooks with ChatGTP
I was going to
nowadays.
just say, with the
Oh
world
my
we live in
gosh.
today, anybody can make themselves sound like that.
Anybody can get. I actually heard ChatGTP, someone was using it to create like movie scripts, which I believe.
Well, and like
So,
I've used it. I'm not going to lie to you,
yeah.
especially when I'm even in looking in a textbop. I'm like, I still don't understand how to
Oh,
put this in
yeah.
layman's terms, right?
Yes,
There it is.
absolutely. Definitely. Oh no, I use ChatGTP for different admin things. It can be a massive benefit,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's not really about if somebody's using ChatGTP because it's the same equivalent of like, oh, did they, learn from a textbook? What matters is can they actually teach, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
a difference between being able to teach versus being able to tell. And that anyone can tell you anything online and can sound really confident and look the part if their physique's in shape. But your big clue here is going to be testimonials. If their profile is banging, if they sound great, if they are teaching you a lot, but they have like literally no proof of anybody working with them or success in any way, that's a red flag for me,
And
right?
when we say testimonials, this isn't just before and afters, right?
No, definitely not.
Like I think we need to be very clear about that. A testimonial is
Some type
exactly
of
that.
proof.
How has this person helped other people? How
Yes.
is this person demonstrating their ability to do their job truly?
Yeah. It's impact, right? Are you creating an impact of any kind? And so definitely, I mean, before and after photos can be a part of that, but they should not also be the only one. Because I mean, the other thing I want to say is like a
I
lot
had
of
great
people,
transformation photos in a very unhealthy way, and
I
I
was
gained all
just
that
going to
weight back,
say,
right?
yeah, yeah, it's so true. Like a lot of people also know how to change calories and macros, and like that will help change your body. But do they actually know how to change your life? Do they actually know how to create impact in your life that drives sustaining change? Being able to teach versus being able to tell, yes, progress photos, but even as you guys will have seen on our social medias, right? We share a lot of screenshots from just communication with clients, saying how good they feel, saying how confident they feel, saying how their life has
Yeah,
changed. That, in
living
my
pain
opinion, is huge.
free,
Yeah,
understanding their own relationship with food, just loving their life in general because they feel better. They understand things better.
yep, yep. I think if you're also having, I mean, this one's kind of hit or miss, but when clients will tag their coaches, I mean, coaches might not want to share, and some people they could be crushing it, but just not on social media. But that can be a secondary form of like a testimonial. Or likewise, you know what one I really love is actually videos of like actual progress from a performance standpoint.
Mm,
I,
yes,
especially if you are looking to get stronger or, be more confident in the gym, seeing somebody's like before and after from like a here's how they were squatting before and here's how they were squatting now. And you did that from only coaching them online and not seeing them in person. I'm like, you definitely know how to teach rather than tell.
true. And I think too, like, and this is not true of everyone, right? Because everyone has their
Mhm.
own level of comfort. But if a coach has a lot of people sharing where when they're in the gym,
Yep,
that actually speaks to the confidence that those people are building, right? Because they're
definitely.
comfortable doing that.
Yep.
And a lot of the feedback I hear from people reaching out to coaches is I'm scared to be in the gym. I
Yeah.
don't want to record myself because it's uncomfortable. And
Yes.
so you can actually see that these people are actually growing into a new level of their
Confidence.
own confidence. Exactly.
Totally. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Um, I know for me, like to be honest, I haven't worked with that many coaches in since I got into the fitness space. The longest I worked with a coach myself was pretty close to 3 years, and if I'm being honest with you, I probably should have ended it at like the 2 year mark.
Yeah, I kind
Um,
of feel that way too. I'm like, at this point, how long did I just go through the motions for a while there,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, and it speaks to the fact that I was very happy working with him. Um, but I think I was also just like I'm a very like loyal person as well,
Me
so I will
too.
like
And I
stay with
like
somebody.
routine. And so
Mhm.
having that with a coach makes the
Yes.
difference, right?
And there's a when you work with somebody for a long time, like they really know you, not just from a mental perspective, but like they know how your body responds and like the
Hmm.
idea of not that I was hopping into working with another coach right away, but it's just like it's nice to be known.
Yes.
But yeah, I've probably only worked with I think uh 4 coaches maybe.
Right. Yeah. Like if we're talking about like a one-on-one capacity, my number is much
Yes.
lower, right? If
Yeah.
it's other areas of my life, like you've worked with like business coaches and stuff, right? Like
Yes.
if we don't count those, my number is probably 2, right?
Yeah. Well, and for me, so what I should actually say is I didn't work with 4 coaches. I hired 4 coaches, and I think I only worked with 2 of them
Fair.
because
Oh, then
literally,
I'm at 3.
yeah, yeah, because when we talk about like coaching not being good, so I remember hiring a coach back when I was in college, and I mean that's like 14 years ago, and I could tell right away. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
It You can tell the program that came through, the nutrition plan that came through. I'll never forget. I think I've talked about it on this pod before. That like one of the snacks was literally like eat broccoli with mustard.
Yes, I had a nutrition plan like that, and it was immediately no. I fell apart.
Yes.
Did
Like,
not do
no,
anything.
no. Yeah, this screams re-triggering my binge eating. And that was another thing right there, because it's like you did not actually take anything about me into account. But I'm also somewhat to blame here because I hired that coach at the time simply for their aesthetic, right? And so that's another really big one, you guys. I understand that it's very motivating to no, you know what? I want to change that. You're not motivated by seeing somebody else's physique. You're
You want
motivated
that.
by their yes, exactly. You're motivated by their journey. You're envious of their physique. And you think by paying them you will achieve the physique that they have, which will never ever happen because genetics are different. So if you are literally looking at hiring somebody and one of your top 3 factors in hiring them is like, well, I really like how they look, that's a red flag for you. It really, really is. You can be inspired by somebody's journey. You can be motivated by the fact that somebody lost 50 pounds, built a shit ton of muscle, completely changed their physique, completely changed their strength. Absolutely. That is something to be inspired by, but that does not qualify them to coach you well.
Because this leads into what do they do? What are they offering you? Because if it's a cookie cutter thing that they do or that they do with everyone, it's not gonna be sustainable.
No,
right?
it's not.
I hear this all the time, man, I love your back and shoulders. I want to look just like that. You can't. Yep. I'm
No,
almost 6 feet tall. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Now, here's the thing. If you do look at somebody like myself, and you're like, I really like their shoulders. We're both shoulder
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go to their page and they're literally also walking you through ways you can grow your shoulders and tips and techniques. Different story.
Yes, because all of us have the same anatomy. We all have the same muscles. We all have the same bones, right?
Yep. Yeah. Do we?
Well, I'm lacking a couple.
Yeah. That's awesome. But no, it's so true, right? So we talk about red flags in coaches, but there's also red flags for how you choose to hire a coach.
Yes.
And it's very easy for us to pass the blame, right? So yes, that coach that I hired definitely was not giving me an individual program, but it was also, I made the first mistake of hiring them for reasons that were not good reasons to hire them. And then the second coach I worked with was phenomenal. I actually wound up hiring him many years later, like 5 years later, from a mentorship perspective. He coached me on hormones, female hormones, reading blood work, things like that. But when I hired him at the time, I worked with him it would have been like 3 months increments. And I only did 1 3-month round because I realized I wasn't in a place to be as committed.
I think that's a huge factor too.
Yeah.
Right?
He wanted to take me to like the stage. I remember he was a US based coach and he's like, I don't have a trophy yet for like any of my girls in Canada. And I appreciated that, how much he believed in what we could do. I wasn't mentally there. So I decided, I was like, I'm not going to continue, but he was actually a good coach.
And that was actually one of my factors for like severing our coach client relationship was because it was great until I had stuff come up in my life that I'm like, I don't have the capacity for this. Totally. Right.
Yeah,
and that's
I need
fine,
to prioritize something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that even right there speaks to the fact, though, of being honest, because I remember when you did message me and I responded back to you and said, I've kind of already been wondering.
We felt like this was happening.
Yeah. Because obviously with our own weekly check-ins, I knew which direction your health was heading, and I'm never going to take the place of a doctor or pretend to do so.
Exactly.
And I very much know that, like, yes, there comes a point where it's like, I need to work with other practitioners, which is a sign of
is
a good
a really
coach.
good point here. Yeah. If a
Yeah.
coach is offering a lot of things outside of a scope of practice,
Yep.
that for me is very much a red flag, right? I can
Definitely.
help guide you in certain directions, but when it comes to like a medical diagnosis, that's not happening, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And also just the ability to be honest. I mean, me and you had already been together for, yeah, like 3 years at that point. So I'd say you were very comfortable. But, even when you guys are looking to hire somebody, again, we're taking most of this topic today, guys, off the fact that we're talking online coaches, right? If you've been following someone, most people follow, like just speaking for us, most people I know say they followed us for like, anywhere from four
Oh,
months
wow.
to a
Yeah.
year. Yeah, before they hire us. And I think that is how it should go because it's kind of your chance to get to know that coach more, right? And how well you get to know them, how comfortable you feel from their messaging, from their stories, from, their interactions, even in the DMs, gives you an idea of how comfortable you will able to be with them, which I
Yes,
think
because
is
you
really,
need
really
that
important.
connection. It's a hard
Yeah.
process. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. If let's put it like this, are you going to be in a position where you're going to be able to be honest with them about not following through on your plan, right? When you say that you have failed, are you going to be comfortable telling them? Not failed, but like, I didn't follow through this week. I struggled this week. I felt embarrassed, right? You don't want somebody who coddles you. And you also, though, definitely don't want somebody who shames you.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody who you're going to be able to feel comfortable being honest with so that they can hold you accountable and also help you understand why something went wrong.
Yes, that's what it's about, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's enough shame that we're putting on ourselves. A good coach, in my opinion, should never make you feel shame. They should be able to point out where your shame is coming from, but help you find that path away from it,
Yeah.
moving that path forward.
Totally, totally. Which also speaks to like how they coach you, right? I think how somebody actually coaches is huge because here's the thing, most coaches look the same on the surface, but they're very different underneath.
Yeah, we actually talked about this when we were planning out this topic. Like, what would you consider a green flag versus a red flag?
Yeah.
And one of the examples that I used was like that they're what did I can't even remember what I said now, but it was like that they're very like hooray, 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 but they never
Yes.
actually, or no, it was that they straight shoot all the time. That's what it
Yes.
was. They're just
Yep.
facts, fact, fact. You're making excuses, right? Get out of your
Totally.
own way. That's not always appropriate for everybody.
Yeah, no, it really isn't. You need to, again, we've kind of mentioned this a couple times, right? Like you need to also know what it is that you need and what it is you want. Both of those things are equally important because at the end of the day, again, majority of coaches offer the same thing, but how they offer it is really what matters. So when you guys are looking at hiring a coach, right off the hop, if you fill out a coaching form or you shoot them a message or whatever, you should be hopping on a call with them at some point, either before you pay or like as soon as you do pay, if you've already decided. And that coaching conversation, that coaching call you have, I know whenever we hop on calls with people, we let them know this call is as much for you to ask questions as it is for us to get to know you. And you guys really should have some questions to ask them. And
Yeah,
those
I had questions to ask, I probably would have had much different coaching experiences the first time I hired a coach.
totally same. Although to be honest, again, that first coach that I hired never even hopped on a call with me. And again, that should have been a red flag to me, but I was also very young, social media coaching,
Yeah.
very new. It's amazing. When I think back, I'm like, man, so many coaches that just got on social media at the right time at the beginning probably made so much money offering absolutely nothing because nobody also had anything to compare it to. Just sad.
Yeah, and like my like kind of peak turning point in my journey was like right at the start of COVID when the world shut down. And
Yeah.
so if you were already in the online space, it was an easy sell for someone like me, right? Like, oh, I need a coach. Sign me up.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah. COVID totally like boosted that because definitely a lot of people went from like no gym access, no in-person training access, and they were just like scrambling. So now we're not scrambling, right? Make sure that you do get a chance to talk to that coach, actually talk to them.
Okay, super quick pause here, because if you're listening to this episode and thinking, I really don't want another January where I go all in and fall off by February, you are exactly who we built our New Year's one-on-one coaching for. Our program is called 2026 Results That Stick. And the goal, if it doesn't sound obvious, is super simple. We want you to start 2026 the way you actually want to end 2026. It's not about losing 10 pounds in January. It's about making sure you're still here with sustainable results come April, come July, come September, come next December. Still moving, still consistent, still seeing progress. We are going to take you through a 4-month, 4-tiered coaching approach. Month 1 is going to be all about setting the foundation. Month 2 is our launch pad. Month 3 is where we literally start stacking results. And month 4 is where we teach you how to sustain every single result you've gotten. Think about it like this: 80% of people fall off by mid-February. And let's be honest, you've probably been part of that statistic. I know I have. Committing to the next 4 months means you're still going to be showing up when most people have already quit. You're going to get programming tailored specifically to you, one-on-one support from me and the other Team Frizzle coaches, as well as community support from other men and women who are working toward the same kind of long-term change as you. If you're ready to stop starting over and actually build results that last, click the link in the show notes and apply for our one-on-one 2026 Results That Stick coaching, and let's build something you're proud of, not just in January or February, but all freaking year long. All right, back to the episode.
And when we're talking about you can shop around. That is okay.
Yep.
I think so often we're like afraid to say no. So if we set up a discovery call or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
they're like, I have to sign up. Even though you don't jive with that person at all, you are 100% allowed to shop around. You are 100% allowed to ask questions, and you deserve answers.
Definitely. The only thing I will say though is make sure you are serious. If you're just taking up somebody's time because you like them and you kind of are thinking of hiring them, remember that this is also, what every coach does for work, and it is also their time. So once you are serious about hiring a coach, as Nell said, 100% agree, you have every right to talk to multiple coaches. But again, when you are absolutely serious.
But this goes back to have you been following them for a while? Right?
Exactly.
You should have a pretty solid, I'm pretty sure I want to work with this person, but I want to make sure that it's a good fit.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about coaching, because again, most coaches offer the same thing, but how they offer those things is the difference between what makes an okay coach, a piss poor coach, and a really amazing coach. So first one off the hop, in my opinion, is communications and check-ins.
Yeah.
How often are check-ins? And if you guys aren't familiar, so to give you an idea, we do check-ins with our clients at minimum once a week. And this is not a, hey, how's it going type of check-in. This is a very thorough breakdown where we get you guys to answer questions for us on this minimum weekly basis about absolutely how your workouts and your nutrition are. But for us, this is way more all-encompassing than it is workouts and nutrition.
Yeah, so what are they offering? Is it daily messaging? Is it weekly check-in? Is it pre-scheduled program updates? What is it that actually comes with their coaching package?
Yeah.
Is it, do they have an app? Are they utilizing text messages, phone calls, video calls?
Yep. With going back to the check-in aspect side of things, can't tell you how many times I've talked to people that will be like, oh no, we didn't really do a check-in, or we would do they would message me every 2 weeks and see how I was doing. That's not coaching. That's not coaching. That's you hiring somebody to send you a plan and basically having an online buddy where you're like, how's it going? Give me an update. That's not coaching. Coaching is specific to you. And so even with check-ins, one thing I want to say is that a lot of check-in questions will be similar client to client. We have a lot of repeat questions, but if you have something specific you're working on, 90% of the time, there should also be a difference in your check-in questions, right? Because if your coaching is truly tailored to the individual, you've got one person that's prepping for a bodybuilding show like I do, and then you've got, somebody who's, in perimenopause, and then you've got a girl at 32 years old who's thinking about getting pregnant. There's there's some overlapping questions, but they also have different questions.
Yeah, like we obviously care about things like sleep, what you're eating, what your workouts feel like. That doesn't change. What are the stressors in your life? Those are questions that are pretty much across the board. But yeah, very much specific. If you are training through a pregnancy, that's going to look very, very different than if you are fresh off an injury or, like you said, training for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, so different. So, when you hop on a call with somebody, make sure they go over what the check-in process is with you. If they don't have one, if there's no structure, that's a red flag. That's a big red flag. And then ask them, do your check-in questions change? Are they specific for me? Are they the same for everyone? How often are check-ins? As Nell said, like, are they written? Are they video? Are they call? Are they email? I don't know. Let me ask you, like, so if you were looking at hiring another coach again and they were like, yeah, check-ins are via email, how do you feel about that?
See, I've been doing this long enough. I would be okay with it because I know I don't need the same level of accountability that maybe I did 5 years ago. Yeah. Right. But 5 years ago, me probably would have really, well, and I did benefit from multiple messages throughout the week with at least like a weekly summary check-in of some kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're like, you get a once a month email check-in and I was like, okay, I'm training just for general longevity, I would be okay with that at this point. Assuming the price point matched, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a fair point. Yeah. I think if, at that point though, I would almost say like, if you were just getting like a once a month check-in, that is kind of almost like a workout buddy mentality. You're just having somebody design your program for you and make sure you're like not hurting yourself or.
Yeah. If I was training for like a bodybuilding show or a competitive level of something, I would definitely want a very routine structure. But if it was just, general stuff, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, for me, no, I don't consider that coaching. I think if somebody's literally again, unless you are okay with that, like, and I have some clients that have worked with me for over 3 years. And so at this point, they don't need weekly check-ins. And so we do a once a month check-in.
Yeah. More like a legacy type extension.
Exactly, because they don't want to have to think about their workouts. They don't want to have to plan it. They want somebody else to take care of that. They're pretty good with nutrition, but the odd thing that comes up, they want some help navigating or things like that. Different story. And as you even said, price point reflects that. But like when I think about one-on-one coaching, at least in my opinion, I don't think email check-ins are like good enough. If I'm just going to say it, at least for what I know most people pay nowadays. Mm-hmm. Mind you, if they're like sending you an email that's got like written responses and then like a video attached, I think that's different. But
yeah. And I think in my mind, that's what I picture. And as a very like, don't put me in a classroom, just give me a textbook. I learn really well that way. So if it's very much like typed out responses to everything, that works for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I get video responses, I'm like, okay, focus, stay focused. Because I'm like, other stuff's happening.
Yeah. Fair enough. See, and this is again, guys, like knowing who you are and what you need. For me, I don't mind reading, because I can go back to it and refer to it, but I am also way more of a visual learner, which is, why
when our clients send me video, I just pull up the transcript and read it.
Read it? That's hilarious.
I mean, I play it in the background, but I have to be reading it in front of me. So so that's why an email wouldn't be the worst for me.
Yeah, see, so different needs. If you're also somebody who really like thrives off connection, like you want to have a deeper connection with the person you're working with. I'm not like talking like, oh, come over, have a sleepover, but like, you want to be able to feel heard and things like that.
Email and tone of voice is really important. Right?
So important.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because I can be saying something that we talk about, it's like back and forth with text and stuff, that's not meant to be received in a really heavy negative way, but that's how you're taking it because you can't hear the tone of my voice.
Yes.
That really does remove the connection, or it severs the connection.
Totally. Yeah. It makes a really big difference. So yeah, I mean, with check-ins and communication, another big one is also finding out, do you get to communicate with them outside of check-ins? Like if your check-in is on like a Monday or Tuesday, it doesn't even matter. And then you have a question on Thursday, are they not going to respond to you for like a whole other week? I am of the position where there needs to also be boundaries.
Yeah, I'm a 50-50 on this one for sure.
Yeah. And we also say this, I think, as coaches, where we have worked with people who want to kind of treat us more like a babysitter. And that's not what you're paying for either. And that's not what the coach is there to provide for you, right? Asking little questions. I'm not talking when you're first getting started, but like asking 10 questions a day that are honestly, most of the time it gets to the point of unnecessary. You need to also respect your coach's boundaries, work-life balance, things like that. But at the same time, if your coach is straight up telling you, like, you don't get to talk to me any other day but your check-in day, that's, for me, that's a bit of a red flag. I don't even necessarily mean for me as a client, because my old coach will tell you he like never heard from me outside of once a week because I'm very self-driven. But again, it's knowing what you need. If you are somebody who needs the accountability, who needs the support, who has struggled in the past, then you probably want to have that option where, like, if I need to message you 1 or 2 times, I can do that and get a response back.
Yeah. And also understand, like, one thing I think is really phenomenal is when a coach that you're potentially working with communicates their, I don't want to say availability, but kind of sort of what you can expect, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, program updates and stuff take me time because I want to process and make sure it's a good setup for you. So if you message me on Friday night and I'm scheduled for other stuff Saturday, or I've taken the day off or whatever.
Yep.
72 hours. Like, and that's not just for me, that's for you. Because if I go, yeah, I can do that, no problem, you're getting a garbage program.
Absolutely. Yes. No, we're very detailed with our programming. When we say our programs are tailored to the people we work with, we are. One of my clients actually just this past week in her check-in, she works out from home. She has an awesome home setup, but for Christmas found out her husband bought her this like sick cable system. And this is also a client of mine that's been with me for like over 2 years now. And so she knows how much time I put into the program. And we just started a new phase, like I sent it to her right before Christmas. So she said to me, it won't be here for 4 weeks. Do you think we can change some things to incorporate that? She even said, I know programming is so specific and it takes like a while because you put so much into it. So no worries if we wait till the next phase, which I appreciated so much. But I was like, hell yeah, we will absolutely utilize it. But that's just speaking to the point that when you're really making tailored programs, if you like hire somebody and they give you like a program, like, I don't know, you get a program in like 30, 45 minutes, that's a red flag for me. That program probably not individualized very much.
Yeah. And like, I don't do this with our gang, but I have house rules and they get sent. People when I've coached outside, they get that. And it's like, if you want help with a recipe, you have to provide me these things. I'm absolutely going to help you, but I'm not doing all the legwork because we're a team, right? Yep. If you have new equipment, like you said, and you want to incorporate it, it has to be this much in advance because I need to process that and make sure it works with what I can provide for you, right? Yeah. And I tell people, because we coach online, we do all the time zones, what time zone I am in, because I work with a lot of first responders as well. And so I'm like, these are my general hours where I am sitting at my computer and I will actively be messaging back and forth with you. I'm available. But outside of that, you can absolutely message me. I'm not going to respond immediately.
At like 10 p.m. at night.
And that's okay. But now you know that is the expectation being set, because I have expectations of you as a client.
Absolutely.
Right? I have things that I need you to complete so that you can be successful. And I want you to understand that here's what you can expect of me.
Totally. And so when you guys, again, are talking to a coach that you're looking at hiring, a question you should ask them is, what are your expectations of me? Because every coach has it. And you don't want to necessarily be signing up for, coaching that doesn't align with what you want and what you need. But you also don't necessarily want to be signing up for coaching if they have expectations of you that you're not going to be able to meet. Just like I said, that coach that I hired that was phenomenal, he had expectations for me that I was like, I'm not in a position to do this. And so I stopped coaching. That's okay. You really want guys to align with your coach. Doesn't mean on like every belief and view, but you want to be able to align with them in terms of how you are going to execute, what your guys' expectations are.
Because a good coach is going to push you out of your comfort zone. That's what coaching does. Yeah. But it has to be a realistic push, Definitely. Like a little push forward and not, I'm kicking you off the cliff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where this, like, what does a coach expect from me is a really good question to be asking.
Definitely. And likewise, I touched briefly on aligning. from a coaching style perspective, you need to align, right? So like, how do they coach? And again, questions you can ask them. What is their coaching style? Will they call you out when needed? Will they challenge your patterns and beliefs, or will they kind of like avoid any discomfort in order to just like keep you happy? Again, there's not really like a right or wrong answer here, only what aligns with you. Now, a coach also, like a good coach, and I would classify both of us.
I like to think so,
yeah. They also will be in a position though, where as they get to know you, or they like, one question we always ask the people that we work with is, what do you ideally want from a coach? Because that tells us right off the hop what kind of things you probably also need. They will likely be able to adapt to what each person needs. Cause like, we give drastically different advice and have different styles depending on the person that we do work with.
Yes. And one of the intake questions I've had throughout most of my career is, how do you like to be coached? Yeah. And without fail, 98% of the time, someone's going to say, I want hard ass. I want no fluff. And then they start working with me and they need not that. Because I can be a right bitch. I've made a hotel clerk cry one time, not my finest moment, but I have that capacity, and that's not mostly helpful to most people.
Totally. So, guys, all of that to be said, really, you might actually know, you know what, a couple of other things to keep in mind, just little questions that you could look at asking your potential coach is, what hasn't worked well in the past? What situations have clients struggled with the most? A great coach is not going to be perfect. They're not going to have a 100% success rate, but they are going to be honest with you. I actually just did a coach with somebody in the last 2 weeks where they literally said, they didn't say, what are my chances of success? Because first of all, if you do ask a coach that and they give you an answer, that's a red flag. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you or your work ethic. Yeah, no, they're just trying to close a sale.
That's the hardest part about being a coach, honestly, is our success rate is based on your success rate.
Yes, definitely. But I literally said to her, I cannot guarantee, what your results will be. And I told her, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've been able to help 100% of the people that I've worked with, because I honestly haven't.
No.
There are going to be situations, every single coach has clients that they've worked with where they weren't able to help them. But the question is, is that coach honest with you? Because if that coach is honest with you straight off the hop, in my opinion, that's a green flag. Even ask them a question and see if they're going to tell you, honestly, I don't know. Because coaches who usually
one of my favorite answers of I don't know, honestly, that's an immediate green flag for me.
Yes.
Not that they won't work to figure it out, but that they can admit that they don't know everything, because that's the reality of it. We don't.
Yes. If somebody can't say, I don't know, or that depends, or let me look into that, that's a red flag.
I'm going to have to do some more research for you. I'm going to have to think on this one for a bit. Those are green flags for me.
Yeah. In our coaching, we don't promise perfection. We promise transparency. We promise adaptability. We promise real support that will search and find answers as we need them. So yeah, just to kind of wrap up here, guys, all that being said, a lot of people might be thinking, well, how much should a good coach cost? And here's the thing, price alone isn't really going to tell you if something is good or bad. The value of it does. Mm-hmm. You might talk to somebody and think to yourself, that doesn't seem like a value to me, and therefore I'm not willing to pay it. It doesn't matter. It could be $150. And if it doesn't seem valuable to you, that's going to be too much for you. Whereas I can tell you right now, if somebody's $150 a month, that's insanely low for a good coach.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly it. If there's a really, really low number, they might not even trust their own abilities at this point, and you want someone who would trust their own abilities to coach you.
Yes, exactly. Again, price alone doesn't tell you if a coach is good or bad. The value of that coach does, but keep in mind that some coaches charge more simply because they have a large following, not because they provide high-level coaching, right? And it's easy for us, even as consumers, to think that. We go to somebody's page, there's 250,000 followers, and you're like, holy shit, they're probably going to be a lot of money. They're probably a really good coach. That does not mean anything at all. I can tell you that I know other coaches who from a social media perspective, have 2,500 followers and know more than than you would believe, that have worked in like doctor level, like literally actually a coach that I am currently looking at working with. He literally has, I think, like 3,500 followers, and he's worked in a doctor's office. He's been like in this field for over 15 years, like insanely smart. But a lot of people would think like, oh, he probably isn't of that caliber simply because of his social media following. Do not fall for that mind trap.
Yes. Yeah. And don't fall for this, like, more bang for your buck, right? Like, look at the other things first. Do you jive with them? What are they offering? And all of these things, because that's far more important than saving a few bucks or paying a little extra.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of asking yourself, like, is this expensive? Try asking yourself, like, what am I actually getting? And again, does that align with what I want, what I need? Do I see value in this?
Yes. Is this valuable to me?
Yeah. Yeah. Because remember, you're not, well, with a lot of coaches, you are literally paying for macros and a workout plan. So the value, in my opinion, for what some people charge is not worth it at all. Whereas I know I can speak to what we offer, and what we offer is, like I said, way more than a workout plan and macros or meal plans. You are paying for decision making, you're paying for adjustments, you're paying for support, you're paying for navigating life as it happens, you're paying for, emotional help and diving deep into the mental beliefs that we carry. You're paying for a change of life.
It's kind of the difference between paying for a paper map and paying for a GPS.
Yeah, true.
Right? Your map shows you some stuff, how to get to the place, but it doesn't allow that factoring of like, oh, there's car accidents, there's roadblocks, there's all of these things. A good coach will navigate all of that with you.
100%. 100%. So, at the end of the day, guys, choosing a coach is not about finding the cheapest option or the most popular one. It's about finding somebody who listens, who's honest when they know and don't know things, who understands your goals, but also looks past your goals to try and understand you better. It's somebody who communicates clearly. And a big thing, like we said, it's somebody who teaches you, not just tells you what to do, and supports you when things get hard. Doesn't just tell you like, do better next time. Great job. Keep going.
Yeah. Do more workouts next week. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully this podcast was helpful, because if you guys take your time, if you ask, the right questions, coaching, in my opinion, I think in both of our opinions, right, can be one of the most powerful investments you will ever make.
Truly. Like I having a coach had literally changed my life in multiple capacities and facets. And I think the question is, how are they helping you better you?
Yes.
Right? Like we didn't really talk about it too much today. But like even the act of providing a form check or helping navigate supplements for you and things like that, right? Like coaches can offer a lot. And is it going to better you? Is it going to improve your life? That's a good thing to be looking for.
Yeah. I keep saying impact throughout this, because that is truly what it is. How is it impacting you? How is it impacting the way you move forward with your life, your mental beliefs, your habits? Because this is where life change actually stems from that impact. So if you guys have listened to this in any capacity and like thought, you know what, I think this is like the kind of coaching I've been missing, then baby, you already know what the next step is. Okay. There will
get serious about it. That's the next step.
Yeah. There will be a link for you guys below that you can click to fill out a form to work with us one-on-one. Again, as we mentioned here, when you fill out the form, we will shoot you over a message and hop on a call first so we can get to know you. And you guys can ask us some of the questions we told you to ask us in this.
We'll know if you listen to the episode.
Yeah. Exactly.
Verbatim.
Honestly, I would be so impressed though. I'd be like, what? Likewise, again, if you guys are looking at hiring somebody else, no shame in that game. Don't be afraid to ask what you need to ask to make sure that you are getting the value and the service that you want and deserve.
Yes, because you deserve it.
Absolutely.
And that's, to me, that's what coaching is all about. You deserve it. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to understand the process, and you deserve to have someone that's going to help you do that.
Definitely. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If you haven't yet, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. It helps us out so much. Likewise, if you guys share this to your social media and tag us or just share it with friends, it honestly makes such a difference for us. So please consider doing that. And then in the meantime, you guys can find us on social media.
Yeah, I was going to say, where can they tag us?
Yeah, I'm at coach.frizzle on all social media platforms, and it'll be in the show notes below.
And I am there at coach.alana.nell. And of course, you can also follow our podcast on Instagram, and you can tag us there as well.
Absolutely. Until next week, you guys, have a happy start to your new year. We will talk to you guys really soon.
Bye.
Bye.